Hello everybody, I'm this Red Gamer and welcome back to Zoo Tycoon 2. Today, I must announce that this episode is sadly the last in this specific zoo. It's just simply that it's getting too laggy, there's too much stuff. But don't worry, we'll continue in a new zoo. We still go with the animals he suggested and stuff. So, yeah, we're just gonna start a new zoo and continue on. That's just what we're gonna have to do. We're probably just gonna pick a smaller map so there's not so much big empty open space in the end. But sadly, we did it. We have to do it now. It's just with all the mods and all the things, all the trees and the rocks I've placed, it gets too laggy for me to be able to play properly. So I decided to just end the zoo here and start a new one. So what I'm doing in this episode is touching up all the sort of corners and bits where it still totally looks unfinished. So yeah, and then I'm adding another enclosure in the end as well. So what I did first is I extended that river a bit and added some more trees on the outside. I realize now I should have probably added a bit more because of this viewing platform I'm building here right now. Well, it's not really a viewing platform, but that gap I left there's going to be windows there and people will be able to look through that and just see the empty space to the left of it. The big open area here that we still have within our sort of walls that I just determined before will be a panda enclosure. But before we get to that, we want to touch up everything around this area. So the Nile crocodile exhibit, because no one even goes up here. I don't know if the guests just get stuck somewhere or something, but we're just gonna go with it and pretend the guests can go here and stick to that. So what I wanted to do with this is sort of turn this also into like a little building that people go in and see the crocodiles from. What I realized later on is that this is too high for elevated path. This is literally the highest point for an elevated path. It's just like a tiny bit off the ground floor. So we can't have a roof in here, but we can always just pretend that there is a roof. And yeah, well, we're just gonna stick to that. And then I tried to work out how to make this look good, and I thought this would be kind of an empty area with nothing to see on either side, just a big long corridor. So I played around with a few ideas, but in the end I decided to go with just deleting the rocks that you see there and turning that into more of a viewing area so guests can just see the crocodiles more. This is me figuring out what's wrong with the elevated path and realizing, well, I can't put a roof on here. So what I ended up doing is I deleted the rocks and turned that into a viewing area, and then since that was such a big open space, I decided to make the other little corner. I tried to find if there's any animals small enough for that, but we didn't really have anything. So in a bit you'll see me trying around with different animals. But in the end I just turned it into a tank and put the Arctic cod in there and some koi. Just pretend it's a little aquarium thing. And I thought that looked kind of cool, and that does look kind of cool. And we added some cool rocks and stuff in there, but I'm getting way ahead of myself because that's not happened yet. This is literally just me playing with the animals right now. So yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, aren't I? So yeah, now there's big better area, a bit better area to look at the crocodiles, and then if they get bored of crocodiles, they can look the other way and see a few fish, I guess. And yeah, we're just gonna have to pretend that there's a roof on all this because that would be better if there was, but sadly we can't. And then I'm playing around with these rocks here, you see right there, kind of make it look like a sunken castle or something a little bit, have a more interesting area for fish, and dotted multiple different underwater plants and stuff about. Trying my best to make this sort of underwater enclosure look good as it is, and yeah, that's basically all I can say to that. So so the next episode will be in a new zoo, as I was saying at the start, and we'll just go for a smaller map and we'll just keep on going with the animal suggestions. I think at some point in the future I do want to do a series on like a zoo recreation, and the zoo in the city I live, I found out it has Google Street View and things like that. So I thought it'd be very cool to try to recreate it to the best of my efforts. Now it won't be easy, I'm very sure of that. So I will do that at some point later on, once my exams are finished and stuff, because it will take me a while. But hopefully that'll be cool. So look forward to that if you find that interesting, and we can hopefully do some great cool stuff. So yeah, right now you here see me setting up the bits for the panda enclosure. So what I decided to do here is this walkway around. That's where the guests will actually see the pandas from, and this big central path. Just you can't see the pandas from there because basically there'll be a big building. And what I also did is I separated the panda enclosure into two. I did one for a male panda, one half, and the other half for a female panda. I'm not quite sure what my reasoning behind it is. It's just that's how the zoo near me has it. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to do something like that. I'm sure there's a good reason for it too. So I'll just stick to that. Here right now I'm just playing around with the terrain so that we can have a flat cut off. And yeah, it takes a while to build an enclosure, right? Yeah. Yeah, the problem with this zoo, I don't know. I think I just too much already, so I couldn't finish it. Too much lag. I was getting like 10 frames a second, so I couldn't continue it. So sorry about that. But don't worry, any animals you suggested, they are still on my list and they will stay on my list. Don't worry, I'm not gonna delete it and restart a new one. So yeah, we're gonna work that out. I also got a few new mods. Like the ones where animals don't care about the size and biome of the enclosure. That way I have some more ability to make the enclosure look in a cool or even realistic way rather than taking exactly the biome that the animal prefers, because that's totally not realistic. In a real zoo you would never get that. So in both of the sides I added a building in the back where the pandas will be able to sleep and have some food and drink. I don't know, for one of them I made it larger, for the other one I made it slightly smaller. I don't know why, but that's just the way I did it. The enclosures are not quite symmetrical, so they're not exactly the same anyway. And yes, then I first filled up the entire enclosure with just dirt, thinking, yeah, well that's how a real zoo would be. But you know, my zoo's not really a real zoo anyway, so I then filled in some grass area and put the trees about. And the little corner in the back right there on that side of the exhibit, I just filled with a lot of trees and bamboo and things like that. Just making it look, you know, kind of nice, hopefully, even though it's surrounded by big red walls. I do really like these walls. I think I might overuse them though. I might need to start using some other ones as well. Some more like grey ones or some more of the wooden ones as well. I'll just have to figure out what do you guys think? Do you think I overused these red walls? I do like them though. They're quite nice. Have a little bit of a Mediterranean feel to them, which doesn't fit to some of these animals, but it's still I think it's kind of cool. So there will be one more episode actually in this zoo. Just a short one of me giving a tour through the zoo. It's just me in guest mode walking the entire zoo, looking at each individual animal. But that's just like a kind of recap. What did we build? What's there left? So that'll be up soon, and you can view that. And then the video after that will be a new zoo. Forgot about that. Forgot about to say that earlier. So now, obviously, I need to add the ability for zookeepers to look after animals, even though the zoo won't be actually running anymore. But, you know, we still kind of pretend and do things like that. So I decided to turn this whole viewer area into a inside area. Just, again, this is really just my local zoo has something like that too. So it's like sort of secluded, and I think actually to see the pandas you do need to pay some extra on the ticket, so I believe. So we could pretend that's here too, but honestly I'm just building a enclosure. I think that looks cool. And again, I'm filling up some of the empty spaces with some trees. There's still, you'll see that in the walkthrough, there's still, you can still definitely tell that there could be more, but at this point I needed to wrap up this episode. It was getting quite long. I was recording for quite a while already, and even with the time lapse I didn't want to go too much over 10 minutes, because that would also mean, you know, having to think of what to talk about for over 10 minutes, and it's kind of difficult sometimes. Right now I think I've just been repeating myself a lot. So you do see this quick time-lapse tour of the enclosure where I'm checking a few things out, and then I believe I fixed a few more things up just to make everything fit alright. I added these backgrounds. Like, they're a bit weird, but I thought, hey, that might be kind of cool. Give the wall some color instead of just the wall. I didn't do too much of it though, and they're a bit random, so it's kind of hard to get exactly on one you like. But I think it worked out. I think it looks alright. And you'll see in the walkthrough that the panda enclosure worked out quite well. So now I'm just touching up the few last bits that I found that need to be done before the zoo is... I can be happy about the state the zoo is in. You know, patch up the little empty areas of just free space that don't look quite right. Add a line of trees on this side so guests might not actually look... try to look into the panda enclosure from there, because that was a thing I saw. Guests were just standing on that wall trying to look in, which, you know, isn't really realistic. You couldn't really see many things from there. And yeah, I think that was about it. That was it. Thanks for watching, everybody. And please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one.